Hi everyone. I just did a live and I realized that it didn't load. I don't know what's going on with the video or my Wi-Fi today. But I'll do this again. All right. So, welcome to another week of Tranquility Talk. I hope you're having a great week. Today I'd love to talk briefly about this idea of embodying your muse and how it all came about for myself and just talking a little bit about embodiment. That's the theme this week. My blog will be coming out on Sunday, and I love this idea of embodiment. What is embodiment? Embodiment is really pulling, if you have a vision board, let's say, whether it's in your head, which would be, your goals, your vision for what you want your life to look like. Or maybe you have a vision board on your wall. What embodiment is, it's literally pulling those visions, those images off of the board or out of your mind and into real life. It's bringing them to life here and now. Vision boards are great, goals are great, and sometimes it's like tomorrow or next month or next year, I'll achieve this or that. Embodiment is when you bring to life in the moment all of those feelings, those goals. You act as if it's already here. So today I'd love to ask you, how are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being not so great and 10 being amazing. How are you feeling physically, emotionally, spiritually, and how do you feel regarding your purpose in the world? And I don't use the word career because I feel like there are so many people that aren't doing the 9 to 5 job where they're bringing home a paycheck, and yet they're doing so much work in the world, whether they're a stay-at-home parent or they're volunteering in their community. So I like to use the word purpose. So whether you're an accountant or a lawyer or a teacher or a nurse, that's your purpose. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad or someone who organizes events in your community for the local food pantry, or you work at the a shelter for people in abusive relationships. There's so many ways that we activate our purpose in the world. And so just on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel in those 4 areas of your life? Physically, emotionally, spiritually, and in your purpose. And if you're on the low end of one of them or all of them, it's okay. I've got a fun little trick that is really fun and easy to implement, and it's called Embody Your Muse. And Embody Your Muse started a few years ago. I was caught most often in my muse that really wasn't serving me, and her name is Frantic Franny. A friend of mine named her. It's when I get into the tizzy tornado, I call it, these like overwhelms where Frantic Franny seems to come out and she's just kind of impatient and intolerant and is a bit of a taskmaster. Now, Franny does serve me well because that's the part of me that gets her done, like gets stuff done. And yet, when I let Frantic Franny take over, my whole life becomes, or my whole day becomes a little bit of overwhelm. And as you can imagine, I'm sure you agree, that's not really an enjoyable place to live. So, this idea of embodying your muse is really just to create a better experience today because your life is being created in the moments. And so, I had an idea. Rather than letting Frantic Franny run the show, I sat down one day and I started to articulate, I started to, I guess, craft a new muse. And I wrote down all the people in my life. So often, do people ask you, yeah, who's your role model? And I never quite had a role model. I just had a lot of people that I admire. And so I started to write down different people in my life, family, friends, loved ones, people that I didn't know that maybe I read their book or, watched them in the movies or listened to their podcasts. And I was really brought to tears as I started to just continue to write about all the people that had touched me in my life, that I was the recipient of all of their beautiful qualities. And yeah, they had their own version of Frantic Frannies. We all do. And yet I highlighted, I shined a light on the beautiful qualities in them. And when I was done, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I've got to like whip this up and like, it's like baking a cake, like this beautiful cake. I've got to whip all of these qualities up into one muse that can temper Frantic Franny. And the name I came up with was Evelyn, and I call her Elegant Evelyn. She's named after my grandmother's best friend growing up. Evelyn was amazing. You walked into her home and you felt embraced by just how she had everything um, set, just the colors and the decorating and, the foods that she would create. And she was just such a wonderful hostess. And, she was a great dresser and she just treated people, she was just graceful and she treated people so kind. And so I named her Elegant Evelyn. And so Elegant Evelyn, yeah, she has Evelyn's qualities and she's also got all the other qualities that I admire in other people. So you probably, of course, have all these people in your life. If you were to articulate what are the wonderful qualities, maybe it's a friend of yours that was full of adventure and game for anything, or maybe it was someone who always made you feel loved. Maybe it was someone who was a good listener. And so when we can articulate all those qualities, we start to realize that the reason that you admire them in other people is because they're in you as well. And so embodying your muse is not being someone other than yourself. It's activating all the beautiful parts of you that inspire you. Remember, I always say you're the guru of you. You don't need to follow the beat of anyone else's drum. You create your own style. You create your own way of being in the world. And wouldn't it be cool if everyone did this practice? The people you work with, what if they embodied their muse? What if they took the time to sit down and be like, who do I really want to show up as at work today? Do I want to show up as my frantic Franny who has to be right and, is intolerant and impatient? Or do I want to show up as, you know, this other muse that I'm going to embody, the one that's generous with an open heart? I love Brene Brown. If you haven't heard of Brene Brown, check her out. She's got great books on vulnerability and courage and getting into the arena of life. And she had an acronym on social media the other day, and I'm probably not going to do it justice, but it was braving, like the word brave, but braving, ing. And it was the qualities of a really good friend. And it would be, respecting other people's boundaries, being respectful, living in integrity, non judgment, generosity, vulnerability, all the qualities that make a good friend. And I was reading this and I thought, wow, like if we all embodied these qualities, imagine how lucky the people we work with would be, how lucky the people we live with and interact with would be. So I invite you this weekend to take all of the things, all the goals, all the vision that you want, and pretend, tap into the imagination that you had as a child and play with this. Sit down. Number one, sit down and write down all of the people that you admire and the qualities that you admire in that person. Number two, whip them all up and into a muse for yourself and give this person a name if you want. Have fun with it. And three, just start living that person in the way, you know, in the way you show up to other people, in the language that you use, the way you carry yourself, the foods you eat, the clothes you wear, how you organize your home, how you live. And it's a really, really fun exercise. And when you get triggered, when you just get annoyed at work, when you want to get into a pissing match with someone, you can step into this muse that you have created. You can embody that person. I always say to myself and to the people I work with, when I get caught in the melodrama of life and the little stuff, I always say to myself and to others, you're bigger than this. You have a bigger purpose in this world rather than getting immersed in the little petty stuff. So embodying your muse can do that because it's almost like you've got this part of you that is available to you that you just need to make the choice to step into. Our reactions are creating our reality. So how we show up to ourselves and others is creating our reality. The thoughts we think are creating how we feel. And so This is not it's fun. It's a fun exercise, and it takes work. Like anything that's worth having, it takes work. It takes consistent work. And so I invite you to play with that, play with embodying your muse. And let's see what else. I will have a blog coming out this Sunday on this. And there's a new podcast up this week on iTunes. You can check out Tranquility Talk. This week it's all about feng shuiing your energy, which is really fun. It's based off one of my favorite books, The Little Conversation, on the podcast this week. And as always, you can hop over to sobertranquility.com if you're ready to take a little 30-day reset and then think about learning to live more and just drink less. It's just about reevaluating your relationship with alcohol. And then finally, if you are wanting a free gift, I have one for you, sobertranquility.com/gift. It's all about these tranquility treats, things to do other than drinking every night. And you can apply it to, if you're not a big drinker, you can apply it to, am I just sitting on social media, or am I, diving into the bag of potato chips? It's a list of really fun things to do other than the things that we want to stop doing, if that makes sense. So hopefully that will inspire you, and have fun with this whole embodying your muse. I look forward to your feedback and hearing how it works for you, and have a great weekend. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.